across the country all week have been sharing their memories and stories of Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, and it's one thing to interview a celebrity, but it's different to be welcomed into their home and share a meal with them. And that's exactly what happened to Madison writer, film producer, and screenwriter John Roach.
Hey, you guys.
We got to hear this story.
All right, tell this story. How did this all come about?
Okay, so I'm a young producer in Chicago. I worked for the ABC and CBS stations there and then kind of started doing my own thing. And one of the first clients I got was my former boss at ABC, a woman named Bev Price, said, John, I'm rolling out this new show called Ebony Jet Showcase, and I need someone to go shoot some pieces, and I'm shipping you to L.A. And so I would fly out to L.A. for a week, and I'd do Ray Charles and Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire, Magic Johnson. And then she says, oh, and I'm flying to Detroit to produce a segment with Aretha Franklin, which obviously I was a fan, as was everyone else. So we load our gear in, we're in her living room, and this was just 4 weeks after her dad had passed, the Reverend C.L. Franklin, who was a really famous preacher in Detroit.
What year is this?
You were at her
84.
personal home?
Yeah, in Detroit, yeah. And so, you know, we're in there, we're setting up lights. You guys know the thing, you know, and there's a decorum that you observe with, you know, artists and celebrities, whatever. So, you know, there's no, hey, can I have your autograph? Or just doing our work, you know. And the interview's wrapped up, and she was a little subdued because she was kind of still in mourning, right? And she was very close to her dad. And so we're wrapping up our lights, and she goes, where are you going? And I said, well, you know, she goes, you don't have another interview today. I said, no, we don't. She goes, well, of course you don't. Follow me. And we go into her kitchen, and there's a big table with a checkered tablecloth and a big bowl of fried chicken, sweet corn, greens, rolls, you know. And she sat down, and she had made this big lunch for us.
Yeah,
and
all
we
prepared
sat down.
for you.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there, hey, I'm eating fried chicken with Aretha Franklin in her kitchen.
You posted a picture of it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think we have the picture, or maybe we already should. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, and that was actually, our cameraman took that shot, and she couldn't have been more generous. I know she has a diva reputation, but at home she was just a sweetheart, and you know, it was a little bit of a pinch me moment. You usually, you know, I've worked with a lot of celebrities, but they never welcome you into their home and then make a meal for you.
And she was a big deal by this point.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
No, she broke out at about 67, 68,
Sure,
right? Remember, she went down to Muscle Shoals and cut with Jerry Wexler and cut I've Never Loved a Woman Never Loved a Man Like You. It was her first big cut. And she'd been doing a lot of music prior to that time, and they tried to make her kind of Barbara Streisand-like. But she got to Muscle Shoals, and these guys had just done Percy Sledge's When a Man Loves a Woman, and she walked in, and it's all white musicians, and she goes, how did you guys learn how to play? And then she had this song, and so she sat down at the piano, started playing, and then they backed her up, and that's how she found her sound. She was free to do some of the church groove and soul groove that came to her more naturally than singing, you know, pop standards.
What did you talk about at lunch? Did she tell you about her family or
Well,
kids?
I'd never had greens before. Okay. I said, Ms. Franklin, I'm from Wisconsin, and all we have is cheese. And so she laughed, but, you know, it was just, I think a lot of it had to do that it was in the wake of her father's passing.
Yeah.
So it was a little subdued, but she was also very fun, you know. And that picture you showed, we have a little picture in our offices that it's like a you know, film strip of the shots that were taken. Someone blew it up into a poster. But my daughter found that picture. I'd never seen that picture before, and she sent it to me when we got the news that Aretha had passed. So that's it, and that is me.
So
many years ago.
So you packed up all your gear, you're done with lunch, you head down, what are you saying to each other?
Well,
what just happened here?
I know, and I said, did anyone know that was coming? Did anyone know that she was going to feed us? And, you know, I mean, well, I was the producer, so if anyone would have known, it would have been me. And it was just really generous, you know. She's been around a lot of crews and interviewers and such, but I will say this. We were working for Ebony Jet, and Mr. Johnson, who owned the Ebony Jet business, one of the most successful black businessmen in America, those magazines held a special place in the heart of black American artists. And so when Ebony Jet came to your house,
Special.
They roll it out, exactly. Frankly, out of respect to Mr. Johnson, not me. And so I think that was what was underneath all of that. But she was an incredible hostess.
She was, and it's quite a loss for all of us.
It is. It breaks my heart.
Not a lot of people have the story you have to tell.
Yeah.
John, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks, you guys. Have a good weekend.
Up next, we're going to head back to Camp Randall Stadium.
Sports director Jay Wilson will join us as the Badgers get ready for the new football season.
How do you sit here?
I know. I know. It's kind of. I don't have socks on, so I.
We'll be right back.